Hey guys! Welcome to Books and BlueStockings. I'm Betty Bookworm and I read way too much into things. Forgive me, my hair's a little bit messy right now. It's Valentine's Day and hair gets messy. Speaking of inappropriate sexual jokes, let's talk about 50 Shades of Grey, shall we? So, most thinking people really hate this book. And with good reason. It's silly, it's badly written, it's not really erotic. But do we hate it a little bit too much? Never has a book received this much backlash since Snooki unleashed her autobiography onto an unsuspecting world. People hate the writing. It's inept at best and downright horrible at worst. People hate that it portrays a really abusive relationship, and people also hate the inaccurate portrayal of BDSM. But seriously, guys, is it really that bad? Now, if I'm going to be honest, I actually found the book hilarious. Stupidly, wonderfully hilarious. It's so bad that I have to kind of appreciate the horribleness. I kind of think it's sort of like Tommy Wiseau's masterpiece, The Room, just with more gratuitous sex scenes. First, let's get the topic of the writing out of the way. Okay, the writing is bad. The writing is so bad. I don't know if you realize this. This book was a fan fiction for Twilight. And I'm not gonna lie, little full disclosure. I'm pretty sure I read this back when it was a fan fiction. So the writing is bad, but it's so funny. This book gave us hilarious lines like,
"I must be the color of the Communist Manifesto.
and
He's my very own Christian Grey flavored popsicle.
as well as,
I feel like Icarus flying too close to the sun.
And we can't forget,
Does this mean you're going to make love to me tonight, Christian?
Firstly, I can't do it.
Would you feel better if the roles were reversed?
Yeah. Does this mean you're gonna make love to me tonight?
Firstly, I don't make love. I hard. Second, let's talk about a little bit of a darker subject. Let's talk about the claims that the story not only portrays, but romanticizes an abusive relationship. Now, I'm going to be the first to say, a consensual BDSM relationship does not equate to abuse. But we'll get back to that later. I don't think the actual sex scenes showcase the abuse in this story. What does showcase the abuse is the emotional manipulation. Abuse isn't always a slap in the face or a punch or a shove. Sometimes it's calculated manipulation. Christian's take it or leave it ultimatum that he gives Anna about his sexual lifestyle is deplorable. His mood swings are played off as romantic and passionate in this story. But if your significant other flew off the handle as easily as Christian does, it would be deemed abuse. Here's a list of some of the reasons why Christian punishes or wants to punish Anna. 1. She rolls her eyes after he sells her car without her permission. Eye rolling would be a perfectly acceptable reaction in a situation like that. Hey Christian, this one's for you, buddy. Reason number 2, she doesn't tell him that she's going to Savannah to see her mother. How dare you go see your mother whom you never get to see? I'm Christian. 3, getting drinks with her best friend whom she seldom gets to see and staying out just a little bit too long. You have a curfew, young lady. So yes, this is a dysfunctional and abusive relationship, but not because of the BDSM aspects. However, there are problems with how poorly the BDSM lifestyle is portrayed in this book. I'll say. Sadie, Master of Kisses? What are you doing here?
Thou doth left this at my place. I thought that thou might want it back.
What? That's not mine.
Really? It has the initials BB on it.
Um, did you have an opinion on how the lifestyle is portrayed in this story?
As a matter of fact, I did. The portrayal of the lifestyle in this collection of mutilated trees that society calls a book is not only disgusting, but it is downright dangerous. There is nothing inherently abhorrent about the lifestyle, except the cable ties.
Cable ties are never okay. Ever.
What is horrible about this less than erotic tripe is the communication, or should I say, lack of communication. Communication is the most important thing in a BDSM relationship, or really any relationship. And Christian and Anna hardly ever talk about things that are actually important in this story, which leads to many unnecessary punishments and arguments between the two. The biggest example of poor communication happens in the first book. And what happens is, I suppose, Christian's being emotional about something or other, and Anna asks him to show her how bad it can truly be. How badly can Christian hurt her? Well, she does ask, so I suppose that's 1 point for consent. But Christian is an experienced Dom. From what I can gather, he's been doing this since he was 15 years old. So give or take, I'm not great with math, but if he's 27 in the book, about 12 years. He's been doing this for 12 years. He is a very experienced Dom. She is not experienced, and he knows that she is not experienced. And it never occurs to him that maybe I shouldn't hit this young, impressionable, inexperienced woman. Maybe that would be the wrong thing to do. And he just goes right at it. He hits her with as much force as he can 6 times. Now, to be fair, she never safe words. But that hardly matters. He should have known that this wasn't a good idea. These two people lack basic communication skills. They should not be in a relationship together, nor should they be in a relationship with anyone. They behave like children. In summation, this is not a proper representation of the lifestyle. And if you believe that thou art a bona fide dom or submissive, simply because you read this book, I have news for thee. Thou art very, very wrong.
So yes, there are many reasons to hate this story. The bad writing, the abuse, the poor portrayal of BDSM. But should we really hate it as much as we do? So this book is not a good book, but it's definitely not as bad as some other things out there. So people compare the sex scenes in this story to rape and non-consensual sex, which is rape. But here's the thing. If we're going to hate on the sex scenes in this book, which we can, I don't really think it's right for us to ignore some scenes in other books. Wicked Ties by Shayla Black. Now, I read this actually before I read 50 Shades. I'm not going to lie, I actually find it a bit more titillating than 50 Shades, just because I think the writing is marginally better. However, there is a scene in this book where the submissive character, she's actually up against a wall, her hands are up on the wall like this, and the Dom character is behind her, like, fondling her. This is a bad pantomime of fondling. And keep in mind, this is before they established any sort of lifestyle relationship. They have not agreed to anything. They are not romantically involved. They literally just met. And she's saying, no, stop. No, stop. Keep in mind, they are not in a BDSM relationship, so she does not have a safe word. And yet, nobody gets on this book's case for portraying an actual sexual assault. And later, spoiler alert, the characters end up together. How come nobody is writing this book's ass? It's like, and we're so quick to hate on this book, but not this book, Claiming of Sleeping Beauty by A.N. Roquelaire. It's written by Anne Rice. But this book has gruesome scenes of dominance and submission and sadomasochism. Gruesome. It's actually, I started reading this when I was about 19. I couldn't finish it. I stopped on page 99. It gave me nightmares. And the lines of consent are so blurred, Robin Thicke wrote a song about it. Robin Thicke stole a song about it. But again, we will get on this book's case, but not this book's case. I have it upside down. Well, I have answers for both. This book is not as well known as 50 Shades, and this book is written by frickin' Anne Rice. Sometimes I think 50 Shades is hated as much as it is because of its connection to Twilight. We as a society just really, really hate Twilight. Understandable, it's a bad story. But we have a tendency to hate things that are connected to the Twilight franchise when we really shouldn't. We hate Kristen Stewart as a society, but she's not that bad. People hate her because of her connection to Twilight. We just hate anything that's connected to Twilight. Now, there is one topic that I really want to touch on in regards to this book. There are a million articles on the internet talking about how Christian ignores the safe word in the book. I'm just going to come out and say it. He does not. That being said, that doesn't make the shit he does in the books any less bad. I don't think it's good to make up lies about something that you haven't read for the sake of making other people hate it. Thinking people, smart people, will hate this book. You do not have to make up lies about how horrible this book is. When you make up lies about something, it weakens your stance. So just don't do it. So go forth, my bookworms, and hate this book. But know what you're hating, and more importantly, know why you're hating it. I'm Betty Bookworm, and I read way too much into things. So, do you want to see Deadpool now? Or